everybody, welcome to the Waldock Way. I'm Jessica. Today's video is going to be our first homeschool show and tell of the new homeschool year. The Homeschool Show and Tell is an open collaboration hosted by Abby from Rooted and Rest and myself. If you're new here or new to the Homeschool Show and Tell and you're like, what is this? It is basically a collaborative playlist where Abby and I host a different topic each and every month, inviting YouTubers from around the world to join us, sharing their take on that topic. So if you're a YouTuber and you would like to join us, the schedule of topics that we're going to be talking about, as well as the playlist that you can add to, is all going to be in the description. You just mention that you're going to be a part of this collaboration, that it's hosted by Abby and I, and then add your video to the playlist. If you are just a YouTube viewer or watcher, then this is perfect for you because you're going to get the opportunity to see a lot of different takes on the same topic, which is my personal favorite thing about this collaboration. I love being able to see how all of the different people are homeschooling or using different resources or kind of diving deep on whatever the topic is that month. This month's topic is our homeschool goals for the year. So I'm really excited to be sharing our goals and also watching what other homeschoolers' goals are. So for our goals for the 2025-2026 homeschool year, I kind of feel like we're in a unique place this year. Emily is 13, so we're like coming into the whole teenage thing. And also, if we're going based off of like your typical school, she is in 8th grade. Academically, I think Emily is more than ready for high school. But we have kind of this like sweet spot of being able to spend this year doing some other things besides just academics, since like we're kind of there, but we're also not ready to dive in too deep into high school just yet. So my goal for this year is to spend it kind of almost as a gap year, if you will. Like obviously we're going to do academics, we're not avoiding them, but I don't feel the pressure to focus on them since I know she's kind of already where she needs to be. So my goal this year is to really like focus on personal growth, which I shared all about my goals for that and the books that I'm going to be using for that. So I will link that up here if you want to know more. But basically, I want to be focusing on personal growth. We're going to be reading from a lot of different books that are going to be from mindset to money, to goals, and just like how to do all of these things, how to start navigating the future. Because Emily's biggest pet peeve right now is when people are like, what do you want to do when you grow up? What are you going to do when you graduate high school? What do you want to be? And she feels very clueless and she doesn't like feeling like she's aimlessly wandering. So that is kind of like my biggest goal, is to like, let's just dive into personal growth. Let's really dive into like figuring out who you are, who you want to be, not forever, not a career, but just being more secure and confident in who you are as a person. That is like the biggest thing I want to focus on this year. In addition to that, I also want to be making sure that we are focusing on connecting versus curriculum. In the past few years, I always say like, we're going to focus on connection over curriculum. And we do a really good job of that. But sometimes I feel like we come back to the curriculum, or I come back to the curriculum because I need the validation. I need to like see that she's learning. But like mentally, again, I'm like, she's where she needs to be. We can spend this year focusing on personal growth and confidence and connection and adding joy and doing all of these things that like I would put on the back burner in the past. So because of that, the things that I'm wanting to add more of to our homeschool this year for goals is I want to see us read more together. Emily's favorite thing, if you ask her like what's her favorite thing to do with me, it's for me to read aloud to her. She absolutely loves it. And that's something that I've done less and less of, unfortunately. The older she's gotten, there's less time for us to do it. She reads more on her own. And so I really want to make sure that we're prioritizing me reading aloud to her, us playing games together, even if it's like just a quick 2-minute game. I want to be like trying to play games, whether it's just her and I or Kevin and her or like the three of us together. And so one of the ways that we've been doing that in the past is playing a game during dinner. So we do like trivia and guessing games. So I will make sure that we're still doing that so that I can at least, like we're still playing even if our schedules feel really busy. I also made sure that I made a list of all of the games that we own that play in less than 20 minutes. So I have a list of less than 10 and a list of less than 20. I also filmed that as a video, so I'll link that here as well. And that way, even if we're like short on time, I can still say like, hey, let's play a game. We only have 10 minutes or we only have 20 minutes, so it needs to be one of these. So that is a goal that I have for this year, and I've kind of like made the steps to make sure that I can make that goal achievable, because I think that's a big thing. Just because we make goals for our homeschool, unless we actually like have the actions and the steps to make it happen, it's unfortunately just a hot air. Like, it's just me having a wish, right? It's like, oh, this is a wish list of things I would love to see happen, but without having like steps to back it up. So for example, I'm going to talk about this a little more later this week in a routine and a schedule video, but for reading aloud, I have set aside like a block of our day that is basket time together, and that is where I'm doing our basket time, but also that's the chunk or block of time where I'll also read aloud. And so that chunk happens to be approximately 2 hours most days, so I know that that's one thing that's going to be happening. With games, like I said, I have the ones that we can do over dinner, and then I also have a list of 10-minute and 20-minute games, so there's no excuse, right? Like, there's no reason for me not to do it. I've made the steps, I've put the work in, so now it's just up to me to implement it. Another thing I would love to see us doing more of is field trips. And I don't necessarily mean big things, although in the past that is something that we've done a lot of. But sometimes I think because we've done such big things like month-long road trips that we forget about like some of the smaller things like the local museums or the zoo, or just those like little things. Like, for example, our first week of school, we went to Wild Florida. That's a local place. We had the best time. We had some amazing animal encounters. And it's somewhere we've never gone. It's literally 2 hours from us and we've never gone before. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, like experiences, just whatever that might be. And those are the three things that I feel like, especially when Emily was younger, they were the foundations of our homeschool. They were the things that brought us the most joy. They were the things that connected us the most. And they're the things that she enjoys the most. Like, of all of the parts of our homeschool, being able to read together, play games together, and like go on field trips or experience the world together are the three things that have always brought us the most joy and meant the most to her. And those are the things I want to remember. Like, I want to be going back to the basics and kind of laying a foundation almost of like connecting and joy and all of those things before we enter high school. Because I know that high school is going to, if nothing else, be a little bit of a mental shift for us in our homeschool. And so I want to go back to basics. I want to be adding the joy. I want to make sure we're connecting before we're worrying about curriculum. I want to make sure we're doing the things that fill her bucket, the basics of what our homeschool was when we really, really enjoyed it, and just kind of like lay that foundation. So that is like my biggest, that's it. Like, that's like the big goal for this year, is to just make sure that we're taking a breath, relaxing, enjoying each other, enjoying the freedom that is homeschool that allows us to do whatever is best for us before we enter like the hopefully not, but possibility of craziness of high school. The last goal that I have for this homeschool year kind of is based off of the fact that last homeschool year felt like we were just winging it all year. And it's to set up kind of better rhythms or routines for our days, weeks, and even the year. Not necessarily a schedule. I don't need or want a schedule, but as Emily's gotten older and as she's added more extracurriculars that kind of pull her in all of the different directions, I feel like last year we were being very reactive to those things. Like, okay, we'll just fit in what we can, where we can. And none of us function well that way. We all function a lot better when we have like rhythms. And for me, it was always like I needed the same rhythm every day. And that didn't always work when she had different things pulling her in different directions. So I would really love to see us figure out a way to have better rhythms or routines for this homeschool year, because I know, again, things are only going to get crazier and she's only going to be being pulled in more different directions as she gets older. And I would just kind of love to have that foundation. So that's kind of my last goal for this year, is just to try to find a way to set or have better rhythms or routines, which, again, I'll talk about this in the schedule and routine video, but I think we're going to achieve that with blocks of time, hopefully anyway. So overall, our goals for this homeschool year are basically growth, joy, connection, and hopefully finding a rhythm or routine that serves our homeschool well. And now I would absolutely love it if you would tell me your homeschool goals for this homeschool year in the comments down below.